Good morning, my dear students, and a very warm welcome to all of you in this e-learning program. Friends, you already know that we are doing the special sessions of NTSC, and in this special sessions of NTSC, we are going to work on the lesson today, chapter number 7 of the NCERT textbook, that is Diversity in Living Organism. It was chapter number 3 in your Prachi textbook. The level at which we are going to talk today is a bit less as compared to what you have already seen in the Prachi textbook. So please stay tuned. The very first important thing about the session is you already know that everything is first of all classified. You already know, we have already discussed in the beginning of the lesson we talked about the need of classification. क्यों classification करना ज़रूरी है? Classification is important because it will divide everything and then its study will become very easy. So it is the science of arranging the organisms in the series of the groups and subgroups on the basis of the similarities and dissimilarities. Whatever things are common in them, on the basis of that they will be bifurcated. Next important thing is Aristotle classified organism on the basis of their habitat, means where they are living. कहाँ रहते हैं वो, हवा में, पानी में. On that basis Aristotle classified everything. So what are basic characteristics? How are we dividing anything? If we talk about the basic characteristics, then it is the nature of the cells, which type of nature they are possessing, prokaryotic or eukaryotic. Then cellularity. Cellularity means what? It is unicellular, that means it is containing one single cell, or multicellular, that means it is containing many cells. Then comes the level of organization, that means it is of which level. उसमें सिर्फ cells ही हैं या tissue ही हैं या organ systems ही हैं. The next one is the mode of nutrition. You have already studied about the mode of nutrition, that is any particular thing is basically bifurcated into two types. If we talk about mode of nutrition, it is either autotrophic or heterotrophic. Autotrophic means making its own food, and heterotrophic means depending on some other organism. And in heterotrophic it is of three types: saprophytic, parasitic and holozoic. So this is about how on the basis of level, mode of nutrition, also everything can be classified. Please take the screenshot of this quickly. Here it is prokaryotic, eukaryotic. Only the one which are in black, the names are important. Further bifurcations you can easily do. If we move further, then the next concept which is important is the biodiversity. What is biodiversity? It is the first of all, bio means what? Living. Diversity means what? भिन्नता. तो जो भी living organism है उनमें जो भी भिन्नता है, that means whatever is the difference, on that basis everything is bifurcated. So it is the term used for the various forms of life which are found in any particular given area. These life forms are depending on each other and also on the environment. Human being is also part of biodiversity. It is estimated that there are about 10 multiplied by 10 raised to 6 species on this planet, and we know only about 2 into 10 raised to 6 planets. So this is an estimation as per NCERT textbook. Then comes hierarchy of classification. Hierarchy of classification मतलब क्या? Hierarchy means you are dividing everything on the basis of that like from small to big you are dividing. Let me try to explain you. Let me try to recall you the same thing. When we talk about the hierarchy of classification, we have already done about the hierarchy of classification, but little bit quickly I'll try to explain you. This is how the hierarchy of classification is. It is not there in the textbook of NCERT, but this is for your knowledge कि ये हमने जो किया था. This is how the hierarchy is. First of all, it is coming the species, that is the basic unit of classification, and we had taken the example as Panthera type, and it is coming under some genus, so the common ancestors. resemble, that is they are resembling each other in many forms. And then स्पीसीज के अंदर आता है जीनस, जीनस के अंदर आता है फैमिली, फैमिली क्लास, क्लास के अंदर आता है फाइलम, फाइलम के अंदर आता है किंगडम और किंगडम के अंदर आता है डोमेन. सो इस तरीके से वो पूरा का पूरा क्लासिफिकेशन है वो बाइफर्केटेड होता है. एंड दिस इज व्हाट इज हायरार्की ऑफ क्लासिफिकेशन which we have already discussed about. So this is about it. It was Ernst Haeckel, Robert Whittaker and Carl Woese who tried to classify everything on the basis of it, but five kingdom classification was given by Whittaker. ये भी आपको याद रखना है. Who gave five kingdom classification? It was Robert Whittaker, this one, and he divided everything into five classifications. So this is how the classification is for species, genus, family, order, class, phylum and kingdom. There are five kingdoms: Monera, Protista, Fungi, Plantae and Animalia. इनके पहले जिन्होंने भी classification करने की कोशिश की वो satisfied नहीं हुए, and this is how everything was changed about it. Okay, this is important. You can say the very important slide. Please take the screenshot. Let's come to the very first part, that is kingdom Monera. If we talk about Monera, then it is a unicellular organism. The nucleus and the cell organelles in it are absent. They may or may not have the cell wall. The mode of nutrition is either autotrophic or heterotrophic. They are able to fix nitrogen. They reproduce by all the asexual methods, and the example is bacteria, cyanobacteria and mycoplasm. My dear students, only those points which are important for you are mentioned over here. You don't have to read the whole of the textbook. If they are asking you bacteria is example of what, then it is example of kingdom Monera. Then unicellular organism, then it is this. Nucleus and cell organelles are absent, that means it is only prokaryotic organism. बाकी सारे यूकैरियोटिक में आते हैं. ये प्रोकैरियोटिक में आता है, ऊपर से यूनिसेल्युलर है. So mode of nutritions are both auto and hetero. So some of the things that you have to keep in your brain is this about Monera. Okay, take the screenshot quick. Let's move further. Protista. Again, if we talk about Protista, it is a eukaryotic. Eukaryotic means एक ही prokaryotic है, बाकी सारे eukaryotic है. एक कौन सा वाला prokaryotic है? It's Monera. Remaining what are eukaryotic? All the other four. So in all the other four, you are having one common thing, that is it is having well-defined nucleus because it is eukaryotic. Moreover, autotrophic and heterotrophic is the mode of nutrition in the first both that we discussed. Some of the organisms, they are having cilia and flagella for the movement, which you have studied in your class 8. Cilia was in Paramecium and flagella it was in Chlamydomonas. They reproduce again by both the methods. Diatoms and protozoa are coming in the under this category, that is kingdom Protista. Unicellular organism. So first two, Monera and Protista, unicellular organism. Monera is eukaryotic, this one is prokaryotic. Mode of nutrition is same in both, that is autotrophic and heterotrophic. Try to recall, we had done one particular table that also I will discuss with you. Then comes heterotrophic. In kingdom fungi. In kingdom fungi, the mode of nutrition is heterotrophic, and in that also saprophytic. Saprophytic means they are depending on the dead living organism. So if we talk about five kingdoms, this is how we can bifurcate them. These are the kingdoms, that is Monera. First we will bifurcate it. Let us talk about the five kingdoms. Then it is this: Monera, Protista, fungi, then it is kingdom Plantae and Animalia. Then coming to the first part, whether it is prokaryotic or eukaryotic. Monera is prokaryotic, rest other are eukaryotic. We have done this table, try to recall. आप जब छोटे थे 8th 9th में थे तब हमने ये वाला किया था. Moving further, after this we are having about mode of nutrition. Then in nutrition, here it is autotrophic or heterotrophic. Again Protista, auto or hetero. Fungi only heterotrophic, and that also saprophytic. Here only autotrophic, while here again only heterotrophic. This is how its basic bifurcation is done. Okay, so this is how, try to recall, we were trying to remember everything. Okay, and you were able to answer many of the questions. Coming to the unicellular or multicellular, here Monera is always unicellular, Protista unicellular. Fungi may be unicellular, may be multicellular. Plantae is multicellular, and this one is also multicellular. You can easily memorize this. काफ़ी सारी चीज़ें आपकी ऐसे ही सॉल्व हो जाएंगी. Okay, so here, because it is fungi, the cell wall is made up of chitin. Some of them, they live in close relationships with the certain algae and plants, and they are forming lichens and mycorrhizae. Some of them are having the ability of being multicellular. An example is yeast, mushroom and rhizopus. So these are the names of some of the kingdom fungi. And सेल वॉल इसमें किसकी मेडअप किसकी बनी हुई होती है? इट इज काइटिन. प्लांटे में इट इज मेडअप ऑफ सेल्यूलोज दैट वी हैव ऑलरेडी डन व्हेन वी वर डिस्कसिंग सेल. दिस इज व्हिच मोड ऑफ न्यूट्रिशन? हेटरोट्रॉफिक, and in that also it is saprophytic. And what is the cell wall made up of? Chitin. Okay, so this is how they are forming a very important relation. Please note it down, or that means take the screenshot. Let's move further. Kingdom Plantae. No need to further like note this thing. Multicellular and eukaryotic, you already know. Come to its basic divisions, that is Thallophyta. If we talk about Thallophyta, then just look at the figures that are given over here. The body of the organism is not differentiated into organs, that is, it is not having its basic organ like root, stem and leaf. वो इनमें होता है नहीं. Where they are found, only mostly found in the aquatic or marine water. Have tissue for conduction of material and for mechanical. The tissue for conduction and the material for the mechanical strength is absent in them. होते ही नहीं है. The body is covered by mucilage. Try to recall, mucilage was a thick cover, outer cover, and they reproduce by vegetative, asexual and sexual reproduction, and algae are example of this division. So this is about Thallophyta. Important points to be noted over here are this one. Body is not differentiated, mainly aquatic. Tissues are absent, body is covered by mucilage, and algae is coming under the category of Thallophyta. Okay, these are the important only 5 points that you have to keep in your brain. Take the screenshot, be quick. Then comes Bryophyta. The body is well bifurcated into leaf, root and stem. They have they have some special uh, tissue for conducting. Then they are called as amphibians of plant. This also remember which division is called as the uh, amphibians of the plantae. Then it is Bryophyta. Then vegetative, asexual and sexual reproduction, say they are uh, reproduction is carried out. We have already studied about vegetative reproduction in class 10, and sexual as well as asexual. Then Funaria, and over here whatever are the given, they are the examples of Bryophyta, that is Anthoceros and Marcantia. So these are the names, just the names that you have to keep in your brain, that if any of the example is coming, then you can name it under the category of Bryophyta. Be quick, take the screenshot and be very quick. After Bryophyta, we are having Pteridophyta. Uh, if we talk about Pteridophyta, then their body is well differentiated into root, stem, and leaves. They are having conductive tissues. Uh, all the above discussed plant, uh, they don't bear seeds. Instead, they are bearing spores, and so they are called as cryptograms. And they require water for the purpose of reproduction. Cryptogram means hidden seeds, while phanerogram means they are having they don't have hidden seeds. Seeds are open. So that is why whatever we talked before, that is Bryophyta, Thallophyta, they are coming under cryptogram, and they require water for the reproduction. So this is important part. Fern mostly is just coming in as the example that fern is belonging to which particular division, then it is Pteridophyta. Be quick. Take the screenshot. Then comes gymnosperms. If we talk about gymnosperms, then these plants, they are having naked seeds, that is they are coming into the category of phanerograms. They are always perennial, evergreen, and they bear cones in which the seeds are placed, and you can have a look at the examples of it. So important point is they are perennial, evergreen. That is a very important point about the gymnosperms. Take the screenshot. Then comes about the bigger one, that is angiosperms. If we talk about angiosperms, then angiosperms, in them the bare seeds, they are covered by organs which are generally called as fruits, and this about the complete the complete thing about the angiosperms you have studied. This whole how is the reproduction getting carried out, which is the like how the pollination is taking place, you've studied. But this is some of the basic information about the angiosperms, that is they are divided into monocot and dicot, and embryos having a special structure that is called as cotyledons, and the example is wheat, rice and rose and tomato. Okay, so this is important thing about angiosperms. Quick, take the screenshot. Okay, now before we start kingdom Animalia, let us have a look at everything in the form of the difference that you have studied in your last class. Things will become easy if you study by this way. See this, if we talk about the difference, then this chart will be helpful to you. Like prokaryotes, then eukaryotes. Eukaryotes are unicellular and multicellular. Cell wall is present only in two, that is in fungi and in plantain. Other wall all are not possessing cell wall. Okay, so without cell wall it is animalia, and this also do not possess cell wall. So this is again the chart that will be helpful to you. Then Monera and Protista was bit deeply given in your here. Cryptogram and phanerogram. Cryptogram, the reproductive organs are hidden, while here they are naked. Uh, no external flowers or seeds are produced. Here external flowers are produced. Or non-vascular tissue. Here vascular tissues are only present, and production over here is occurring by spores that we saw right now. Then this is how they are basically defined. The body is not bifurcated, and here the body is well differentiated. Example is eye, and here about its like sex organs is given. They are covered right now, only we discussed. They are covered, while here they are covered by fruit. Then important point over here in bryophytes was, it was important point was they are called as the amphibians. So this is about them. And gymnosperms and angiosperms, these are seed producing plants, and here seeds are encased in the fruits. Seeds are, they are evergreen, woody and perennial plants, while here everything is occurring on the basis of, in the angiosperms, with the help of the gametes, that is the male gamete and female gamete, which is the stamen and the carpel, which are helping in the formation of embryo. Okay, so these all things will be helpful to you when you are learning. जब भी आप लर्न करने बैठेंगे तब आपको यही चीज़ें याद आएंगी. And as far as possible, do it in terms of difference, then things will become easy for you. जब भी आप डिफरेंस के फॉर्म में उसे लर्न करने की कोशिश करेंगे, then things will become easy. Now let's move further. We were talking about kingdom Plantae, and now we'll start on kingdom Animalia. If we talk about kingdom Animalia, then the main characteristics of this kingdom is they are eukaryotic, they are multicellular, they do not have cell wall, and they are further divided into 9 phylums. Try to recall, we have already done about it. Let me show you the image of it. We have already done. This is about 8 phylums जो हमने किए थे. Try to recall this: Porifera, Coelenterata, Plathelminthes, Nematoda, Mollusca, Echinodermata, and Chordata. 5 parts we had done. If this is not visible to you, do not worry. You'll get an extra PDF of it, so you can revise from it. Okay, it's this way: Porifera, Coelenterata, Plathelminthes, Nematoda, Annelida, Arthropoda, Mollusca, Echinodermata, Chordata. क्लास में बैठ के मैंने ये लर्न कराया था आपको. आई होप आपको याद होगा. याद नहीं हो तो कोई बड़ी बात नहीं है. You can revise it 2 to 3 times and everything will become clear. So this is how the 9 phylums were: Porifera, Coelenterata, Plathelminthes, Nematoda, Annelida, Arthropoda, Mollusca, Echinodermata, Chordata. Porifera, Coelenterata, Plathelminthes, Nematoda, Annelida, Arthropoda, Mollusca, Echinodermata, and Chordata. If we talk about the germinal layer, then the germinal layer is dipoblastic, and in the first 2 it is dipoblastic, rest everywhere it is tripoblastic. Now what is this dipoblastic and tripoblastic? For that we need to understand one important thing, that is this is the outer layer, which is called as ectoderm. This is the inner layer, which is called as endoderm. And this is the between layer, which is called as mesoderm. Okay. याद करो, ectoderm, endoderm and mesoderm. If the outer layer is present, then if outer and inner layer, if only 2 are present, middle layer is not present, then it is dipoblastic. Mesoderm present है So it is typoblastic. So the first two, that is Porifera, Coelenterata, they are typoblastic. Rest all are trypoblastic. We have already done it in class 9 in the ending only, but yet let me make you revise. Then comes xylem. There between the ectoderm, endoderm and mesoderm, over here the fluid is filled. If the fluid is present, then we call it as xylem. Okay, what we call it as xylem. So if in between over here the fluid is present, then it is E-coelomate. If it is not present, then A-coelomate. So the first three, Porifera, Coelenterata and Plethelminthes, in them it is A-coelomate. Fourth one, that is Nematoda, in that it is pseudo-coelomate. Pseudo means what? From xylem is not arising from mesoderm, that is the meaning of it. Then here the rest are E-coelomate. Next we talk about the symmetry. Then in first two lateral, rest of bilateral. What is the meaning of now? Suppose if I talk about a circle, then you can divide it in any way you want. आप उसे कैसे भी डिवाइड करो, ऐसे टू पार्ट्स में डिवाइड कर सकते हो, आप ऐसे उसे टू पार्ट्स में डिवाइड कर सकते हो, आप उसे ऐसे टू पार्ट्स में डिवाइड कर सकते हो, बट अल्टीमेटली इट विल बी द सेम. इंस्टेड ऑफ दैट, इफ यू टेक एनी अदर particular shape, suppose if I take this particular triangle, then can I divide it into two equal parts by just with the help of just any plane? तो आप उसे कैसे भी डिवाइड करो, वो दो इक्वल पार्ट में डिवाइड हो कहीं से भी by using any plane, then it is radial. और ऐसा ना हो, then it is bilateral. So this is example of a bilateral figure. So that is about the symmetry. Symmetry is radial in the first two, that is Porifera and Coelenterata. In the rest it is, while in the last one it is radial in adults and bilateral in larvae. Then comes the body. Body shape in Porifera, it is cylindrical. Just a moment. Okay, the very first thing we are talking about Porifera. Porifera's body shape. If we come to its body shape, then its body shape is cylindrical. Habitat where it is living, then it is living in the marine water. Circulation. Water, they are having flagella cells which are called as canocytes. And ऊपर जो उनमें opening होती है, that is called as osculum, which is, you can see its pic over here. I hope it's visible. It is having pores, and the respiratory, digestive and the nerve, then that is absent. Then the sex organs, if we talk about it, then sexual is occurring through sperms and asexual through the budding and the gemule. Example is cycon. Other characteristics are not at all given. Then comes the next part. Porifera के बाद आता है Coelenterata. Coelenterata body shape, they are having stinging cells which are called as cnidoblast, which is releasing cnidocyst, where they are present in the marine and the fresh water. Anus is absent, and how is the waste material removed? Through tentacles. Hydra is example of it. Here is the pic of it. Further, these things you don't need to memorize other characteristics. Then comes the third, which is Plethelminthes. Plethelminthes, if we talk about it, they are flat. If they are flat form, they are occurring in the form of parasites. If they are planaria, then they are generally free living. Less developed and they are having flame cells for the same. The nervous system is developed, but they do not have any digestive tract. Then they are hermaphrodites. That means they are having both male and female organs inside it. And the example of it is planaria. Okay, so after Plethelminthes, you are having Nematoda. If we talk about nematoda, then it is its body is how cylindrical, which is covered by a tough cuticle. Water and the soil are example of it. The respiratory system over here is absent, over here it is developed. Here the body is unisexual, and is example of it is Ascaris. Then comes Arthropoda. About Annelida we are having. Annelida, if we talk about the body segmented, means वो जैसे worms होते हैं वैसे, where they are present in the soil. उनके बॉडी के अंदर ही ब्लड फ्लो होता है, and excretion is through metanephridia, and waste is removed in the form of ammonia. The digestive system is developed, as well as respiration is occurring through gills. The body is unisexual, and the example of it is earthworm. Then comes Arthropoda. Arthropoda, it is the important thing is you have to remember about it. It is the largest phylum, सबसे बड़ा phylum. Then example of it is cockroach. The respiratory system is developed and occurring through gills. Even the digestive system is well developed. These things are not present in the NCERT book, so we do not need to memorize it right now. Okay. Arthropoda, mollusca. They are having the soft body head. This is how they are looking like. Octopus, आप उसे हाथ में ले तो उसका color change हो जाता है. That is the big example of mollusca. And the calcareous cells है वो पूरी body को cover करते हैं. Then comes the next part. Is last one, echinodermata. Example is starfish and the animals. Okay, so this is how they are looking like. So this is all about your chart for the complete kingdom Animalia. Okay, because it is going to come in MCQ and not everything is going to come. It was revised again. Just take the screenshot or just even only look at it. आपको याद आ जाएगा कि हमने ये किया है. I hope you remember. This will be sent to you, do not worry. Kingdom Animalia. This is what we started with. Only look at the diagrams because they will be helpful to you. Porifera, जैसे हमने डिस्कस किया था, उनको ऊपर एक ऑस्क्यूलम होता है like this, an opening from where it can give or take any other material. So this is about it. They are having hard skeletal system. Example you can remember, aquatic. They are non-motile, that means they will not be moving. And they are having small holes on their surfaces like this. Then comes Coelenterata. We had a discussion about this कि उनकी body में they are having special stinging cells that is called as cnidoblast, and they are also called as cnidaria. Coelenterata. Okay. Then Plathelminthes, this is how they are looking. They are trypoblastic, that means they are having 3 layers, ectoderm, endoderm and mesoderm. Then they are dorsally flat. See, they are flat from here, from its middle surface. So that is what they are called as. They have tissue level of body design and they do not contain any kind of cavity. Then comes Nematoda. See, this is how they are looking. They are mostly parasitic. They are mainly parasitic in nutrition. This is important point. Parasitic means what? Parasites का best example है mosquito. Mosquito is coming under that category. अगर वो हमें bite करता है तो it is harming the host from which it is benefited. Okay. Then they are having pseudocoelom, that also we have done only particular only one. This nematoda is such कि जिसमें you are having the pseudocoelomate. Okay, and they are trypoblastic, that means it is having 3 terminal layers. Then comes annelida. If we talk about annelida, they show bilateral symmetry. That means you can divide it from any particular part, then it won't work. That is occurring only in radial. Here for its division you need to particularly divide it from one point, and here is how they are looking like. Having many segments. They are found in both earth and water, and earthworm and leech are the examples of it. So this is how this is why they are also called as annelida, because they are having many segments. Then comes arthropoda. Largest phylum of the groups have jointed legs. Here is the example of it: cockroach, butterfly, housefly, and they have open circulatory system. The body, in the body, they have a true body cavity in which the blood is filled, and it is again trypoplastic. That means it is having 3 layers. Then comes mollusca. Here you can see one mollusca. The body cavity is highly reduced. They are bilateral, trypoplastic. They have open circulatory system. They have kidney for excretion. Okay, and a highly muscular foot is used for the movement. The example given over here in mollusca are this Pila and chitin. तो याद रखना ये. Take the screenshot. Then comes the next part, that is echinodermata. They have spiny skin, and we talked about it. They are free living in, mostly found in the marine water, trypoplastic, and they have a tube system for the purpose of movement. They are regenerating very quickly. Example of it is starfish, and here are further more examples. Then we talk about protochordata and chordata. This is about all the protochordates. They have a notochord at a particular stage in their life, and after that the things become different in the protochordates. Okay, the rest of the things are like bilateral, then trypoplastic. Only 2 to 3 things you have to remember: bilateral, trypoplastic, then they have a notochord, an example of it. Only this much you have to remember. Then comes about the vertebrates. The vertebrates are further bifurcated into 5 kingdoms, that is species, amphibia, aves, reptilia and mammalia. Okay, we will also learn the same through a pic, phylum chordata. This is how we have already done it. I hope it's visible. This is amphibia, reptilia, aves and mammalia. Habitat, then it is try to recall, हमने ऐसे learn किया था: water, water plus land, diverse, diverse. Diverse means found everywhere, water, land and air. Then ये इतना important नहीं है जितना ये heart और वो बाकी की सारी चीज़ें important है. Heart 2, 3, 3, 4, 4. Okay, 2 chamber, 3 chamber and 4 chamber. Respiration through gills, lungs, gills and skin. Then here lungs, air sacs for the respiration, and here there it is lungs. Fertilization also, first 2 are external, the rest 3 are internal. Then comes important point. Here body is covered by scales and they are streamlined and they are dorsoventrally flat. Other important characteristics are they are cold blooded. कोल्ड ब्लडेड एंड वार्म ब्लडेड में हमने डिफरेंस आपको सिखाया था कि कैसे वो डिफर करते हैं डिपेंडिंग ऑन द टेम्परेचर बेसिस. द नेक्स्ट इज एम्फीबिया. They are smooth, non-scaly, and they have muscles and poisonous glands. While here they are having 2 pair of limbs, and again here they are cold-blooded. That means they will not compensate with the temperature control. Habitat for reptilia, it's water plus land, and reptilia, they're having very dry skin, except turtle or are carnivores and they are possessing teeth. If we talk about aves, then in them we are knowing कि उनको feathers होते हैं, and next is they are warm blooded. In esophagus they are storing food with which they are feeding the young ones. Then comes mammalia. The body is covered by hair, sweat, and muscle glands. They are having head, trunk, neck, and tail, but we don't have tail. Uh, Having the mammary glands, which is helping it to feed the young one. So this is about the complete kingdom, phylum Chordata. Please take the screenshot. It will be provided also. So here about the pieces you are having. We have already discussed piscis, amphibia. Just look at the figures. It will help you out. Somewhere आपने कहीं पे पढ़ा हो कि alligator, lizard, snake, turtle, they are coming under reptilia. Then here in amphibia, whatever, salamander, toad, frogs, newt, whatever. By the diagram, you can recognize everything sometimes quickly. The birds all are coming in the aves. Then in mammalia, this big mammals are. Then next, why there is the need of nomenclature? किसी का नाम देना क्यों ज़रूरी है? नाम देना तो ज़रूरी है ही ना. आपको हम कैसे बुलाएंगे? By your name. So what is the need of nomenclature? All the organisms, they are found in different area, and so we need to name it. So like भिंडी है, उसका नाम लेडीज फिंगर भी है. So इसी वजह से सब जगह लोग अपने अपने हिसाब से नाम देते हैं. But we need to see that a common ways given, so that whenever the scientifically each and everything should have a particular name, a science based name. So that is about this. It is the unique way by which the name is written. The name should be given in the Latin language, and the name of the gene should always begin with a capital letter. ये थोड़ी चीज़ें हैं जो in the form of rules you have to remember. And after that, the name of species should come in the small letters. The scientific name should be written in the italic, okay, and it should be underlined separately when it is handwritten. For example, humans, it is Homo sapiens. For lion, human का आपको पता होगा, lion का आपको नहीं पता होगा, इसलिए आप इसका भी screenshot ले लेना. Lion का it is Panthera leo. Okay, so that's all for today, guys. See you with the next topic. Have a very good day. That's all. Bye bye. Thank you so much for listening to me.